Alright, today we are going to go over a word problem. This is a multi-step word problem, as we will see, and also a word problem that involves multiplication and other math, so let's just get right into it. So Jill wants to give 6 treats to each of the dogs at her animal shelter. She already has 78 treats. There are 34 dogs at Jill's animal shelter. How many more treats does she need to buy? So, let's first unpack this word problem. So, she wants to give 6 treats to each of the dogs at her animal shelter. There are 34 dogs. Okay? So, that means that the amount of treats she needs, if there are 34 dogs, you can picture 34 dogs, and then if I were to put a pile of 6 treats in front of each dog, then to figure out how many treats you would need, we would have to multiply 34 times 6, because there would be 34 groups of 6 treats, one group for each dog, right? So 6 treats for each dog, so it would be 34 times 6. But that's not the question. The question doesn't say how many treats will she give to the dogs in all. It says that she already has 78 treats. How many more treats does she need to buy? So that means what we need to do is figure out how many treats she needs to give the dog. So that would be 6 times 34. And then we need to, since she already has 78, we would need to subtract 78 from the answer, and that would give us how many more treats would she need to buy to get it. So, let's start with 6 times 34. Okay? So, we can do this in a couple of different ways. We can do partial products, where we can split up 34 into 30, right, plus 4. So we're just splitting it up into expanded form. And then we're multiplying the 6 by each of these. So 6 times 30, and then plus 6 times 4. Okay, so 6 times 3 I know is 18, and then I'm going to add the 0 at the end, because we're not multiplying by 3, we're multiplying by 30, so it becomes 180, and then I know 6 times 4 is 24. And I know that because I have memorized my times tables, and I suggest everyone memorizes theirs, because math will be a whole lot harder if you do not know your times tables. And now we just have to add these up. 180 plus 24. So we got 4. 8 plus 2 is 10. And then 1 plus 1 is 2. So now we are at 204. We can also do the box, the area method, or the box method, the window method. There's a couple of different ways to do it, and it's pretty much the same as partial products. We're just setting it up differently, where now we're multiplying 30 and 4. We're doing this 180. Right, we already got these answers, 24. and then we would just add these up exactly like this. But interestingly, I just want to point out, sometimes if you're on a test or something and they're drawing the area model, they might actually do it similar to this, where they actually show, there'll be like 30 and then 4, just because the 4 is much smaller than the 30, so they're trying to show the area. And this is good for showing how it is, but it's just harder because then I'm going to have to write 24 all small here instead of just giving it equal room to the two different numbers. But anyway, I just wanted to point that out. So that's another way of doing it. And my favorite way would be the standard algorithm. So 34 times 6. 6 times 4 is 24. Carry the 2. 6 times 3 is 18, plus 2 is 20. And we get the same answer in each, so 204. Now, that's how many treats she needs in all. But she already has 78. So all we're doing here is subtracting what she already has to figure out how many more she needs to buy. So, make sure that you don't put 204 as the answer, because that is not the answer. That's only the answer to part of the question, and it will be the wrong answer because that's not what they're asking for. So 4 minus 8, we can't do that. We have to borrow from the next column, but we can't borrow from a 0, so we borrow from what I like to think of as 20. We change it to 19. Bring the 10 around. 14 minus 8 is 6. 9 minus 7 is 2. 1 minus 0 is 1. So it is 126 treats that she needs to buy. So hopefully that helped you out, showed you a couple of different ways to do the multiplication, and also clarified how to do these multi-step word problems. But just always make sure that once you get the answer, you read over what it's asking. How many more treats does she need to buy? Does my answer answer that? Does 126 treats answer how many more treats does she need to buy? The answer is yes. If your answer was 204, you were like, is 204 how many more treats she needs to buy? Hopefully you would read that and think, no, that's not how many more treats she needs to buy. That's how many treats she needs in all. So just make sure that you are reading the question, understand it, and your answer actually answers the question.